Hey, what's up, YouTube? I just heard this story about a student down in Louisiana who was given an unlimited suspension due to the fact that he refused to cut his dreadlocks off. Now, the kid is a Rastafarian, or he follows Rastafarianism, and he's a Rastafari. And one of the key tenets to Rastafarianism is that you shouldn't cut your hair or your dreadlocks. And in the school district, they have a policy where boys are not allowed to wear their hair past their shoulders. Now, the reason this story is so interesting is coming from a state such as Louisiana, where the people down there, or at least the politicians, feel that we should have a theocracy, a Christian theocracy, where we should have no separation of church and state, which is in the Constitution. Now, I have yet to see any right-wing Christian religious rights group step in to help this student out. The ACLU has actually stepped in to help him. Now, I am an atheist, but one of the key things I believe, or I feel that we should have as a society, is a separation of church and state. You can worship Zeus, Allah, Jesus, Thor, whatever, as long as you don't influence our government, or you don't force it onto other people. And I have no problem with it. I mean, yeah, a lot of this stuff is crazy to me, but you still have a right, in a secular democracy, to worship whatever you want to worship. The reason this story is so important is because, let's say the shoe was on the other foot, and the Rastafarians were like 70% of the population, and the Christians were like less than 1% of the population. Now, in a theocracy, discrimination against a religious minority is completely acceptable. But in a secular democracy, where we have a strict separation of church and state, it doesn't matter if you're the minority or the majority. You're all treated equally, and there's no influence on our government that would give the majority religion some sort of rights that the minorities wouldn't have, or vice versa. The reasons I like talking about stuff like this is because I like pointing out hypocrisy. When someone says that they're all for something, or they're all for rights for da 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 da, but then if it's for another group that needs these rights as well, and then they're all of a sudden like, oh no, they come up with some sort of excuse for why the reason they should have these rights is not valid. Now, the school I went to was an urban high school in Akron, Ohio, and they had a lot of rules and regulations, mainly due to the fact that there's a lot of gangs in Akron, and a lot of the stuff that they prohibited from wearing was stuff that was gang related. Like, you couldn't wear I think you couldn't wear like a white t-shirt, or you couldn't wear like bandanas either on like your left, or you couldn't wear bandanas at all. You can't wear shirts that might have had like a gang message on it or something like that, and you couldn't droop your pants as well. So all these things were in place to combat gang influence in the high schools. But then when it came to like people in their religion, or the students in their religion, a lot of the stuff they made exemptions for. Like, people, they can't wear a red or blue bandana to class, but if someone wants to cover their face because they're a Muslim, then they have a religious exemption for that. And a lot of times we're not allowed to wear jewelry, or when I was in high school, we weren't allowed to wear like a lot of flashy jewelry, because it might symbolize you might be a drug dealer, or you might be in a gang or something. But if someone's wearing a string with a cross around it, no one bats an eye. Also, in this story, if someone wants to wear dreads because this has something to do with their religion, then why can't they, worship how they want to worship? This is a real case of religious discrimination. And, usually I just call BS when religious people are saying that, oh, we're being discriminated against. It's really they want to have a certain influence on our schools that I just find unacceptable, and it's unconstitutional. Now, in closing, after hearing a story like this, even if you're religious, you should see why having a secular democracy should be something even religious people should fight for, because it protects everyone. It gives everyone rights to worship whatever they want to worship, or if you're like me and an atheist, you don't have to worry about people forcing their religion down your throat or whatever. But it seems that in this country, it's an uphill battle, and we have to constantly fight against people who want to make this into a Christian theocracy. And that's all I gotta say. Thanks for watching. I'll have a link in the description below, and have a nice day.